Hello and welcome to another edition of the Monday Night Wars. It is September 2nd, 1996. Although it's also September 6th, 1996. Because Raw is still being preempted by the US Open, but this week they didn't have the decency just to not be on the air, unfortunately. So we got to talk about it.
That was so good. Oh, man. You're not wrong, Scott.
You know, this week is not as bad as next week, but that's also not anything to look forward to. It's like, it could be worse. It could be next week. Anyways, let's get into it. I am Scott. With me, as always, is Joseph. How are you, Joseph?
I am great, except for we got to talk about Raw.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
you know,
you're great now.
yeah.
We just started.
Check back in 30 minutes.
Well, and we're starting at least on a high note. I'm thinking maybe we should start flipping these to talk about Raw first. Because if I was a listener, I would just cut out after like, I'm good. Force people to listen to the whole dang thing. You gotta listen to get through Raw to get to the goods. I don't know. Anyways, we'll start though, keeping traditions alive with Nitro, which is also on Monday night. So I mean we gotta.
Yeah.
Chattanooga, Tennessee, the UTC Arena. Very exciting. Hour 1. Tony, Larry, and a match. DDP, Diamond Dallas Page versus Alexander Wright. 3 minutes, 44 seconds. Say words, Joseph. Say words.
Words.
All right, we're good.
This is a fun TV match. It's very simple. DDP wins with the diamond cutter. I would have liked to have seen some sort of, play with the Guerrero feud that he's in. Maybe they get some vengeance after the match or something. I don't know, but it is what it is. It's a solid start to the show, though. It's a really fun, kind of high energy opener. I enjoy it. I gave it a C+.
I saw someone else say about DDP, what makes the diamond cutter so fun is that he can seemingly just do it in any situation. Like it always works. Like if they're coming off the top rope or they're running or anywhere, you can do the diamond cutter. It's just a super easy thing to do, so you never know when it's coming. And I think they're right. I think that's kind of fun. After that, though, we got Mean Gene, and he's on the case because he thinks something's not on the level with this Nick Patrick character. Says, you're doing slow counts, you're doing fast counts. What's going on here, Nick? And I'll say, I think Nick Patrick does a pretty good promo here. What'd you think, Joseph?
I agree. I gave this a B. It's very fun. Patrick says, no. All this controversy, all these things that Gene keeps bringing up and challenging his integrity and stuff. Gene stirred this up. This isn't reality. Gene's the one who's been stirring this up and creating this narrative surrounding him. If he was bad at his job, he'd be fired. It's pretty much that simple. He calls Gene a flat out liar and even pointed out some of the other refs' mistakes and that they aren't getting flack from Gene for it, which, like you said, dude making some points. Good promo, very fun, liked the storyline, gave it a B.
Best heel promos are when they're actually making sense.
Yeah.
And, after this, I'm convinced Mean Gene is creating a narrative. And Nick Patrick said, hey, buddy, we don't do that here.
Yeah, we don't do narratives here.
Do not do narratives. You know what they really need is they need to get Harvey Whippleman over here to be doing his ref reviews.
Oh, good point. Kind of audit the ref process.
Because we loved it so much at Raw. Why not bring it over? You know what else I love, Joseph?
What's that, Scott?
That's sarcasm. I don't love it. Our next promo.
I couldn't wait to talk about this with you.
Yeah, well, it's not even a promo. It's an interview. It's Mean Gene, and he's in the locker room with Colonel Robert Parker and Sister Sherry. Because we're still doing this. We are still doing this. And Colonel Robert Parker's got gifts for Sherry. And it's item 1 is a leather vest.
Which she loves.
Yes. Yeah. Item 2, though, Joseph, I take issue with item 2. It's a pair of chaps, my friend. What are we doing? Joseph, why is this still happening and why is it so terrible?
I do think that Robert Parker mentions that on his farm he has horses. I think he says something along those lines. So that's kind of what the chaps are for.
That's not what
But
the chaps are for.
but no, but that's my point, right? Like he at least kind of gives like a PG version, but it's like you can't as an adult, you can't look at this and think of anything else. Man, it's bad. Sherry jumps all over him afterwards. She's ecstatic about the whole thing. I love sensational Sherry and Sister Sherry, and I hate what they're doing to my girl. I hate this shit so bad. And look, Robert Parker's doing his best with it. I mean, he's doing it his damnedest, but it is an F across the board.
This is the worst pair of assless chaps I've seen since Brokeback Mountain. I hated it.
Oh
Hated it.
my god. 2 weeks in a row, Brokeback Mountain just catching strays for no reason.
You know, it won awards. People like it. I don't think
Yeah.
I've actually ever seen it.
Yeah, it's good.
So you're saying I should watch it, huh?
Yeah. Go
All right,
for
next
it.
week I'll give my Brokeback Mountain review. Well, actually, probably a week from next week because we're going to record the next episode after this episode. Movie magic, everybody. So yeah, but I'll get you my review. I'll get you my review. But I did not care for this, and I did not care for it as soon as I saw it. When I saw the room, I was like, oh no. No, 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 no. But after that, we got a tag team match. You know, I love tag team matches. And we got Harlem Heat. And they're not there with Sister Sherry and Colonel Robert Parker. So that's a good thing. This is a positive. But it's also against Greg Valentine and Buddy Valentino. You guys got tag teams. What are we doing? 4 minutes, 45 seconds, Joseph. What is going on?
Yeah, it's a weird one. Greg the Hammer Valentine, obviously, legendary wrestler. I would never put him in like my top 10 or anything like that, but obviously very storied career, a lot of respect for that. I had to look up Buddy Valentino. I couldn't find anything on him. So if one of our listeners knows, feel free to let me know, but I could not find anything. That being said, Ted DiBiase comes down to sit by ringside. Remember last week he told us that the 5th member would be here, or was it the 4th, or was it the 5th? We don't know. Numbers don't make any sense in the NWO. So we'll see how this plays out. This match, though, really had no point, and Harlem Heat wins easily. It's not a bad match by any stretch. Gene then interviews Harlem Heat, and Stevie Ray says he doesn't care about the fat, ugly beer drinkers, the Nasty Boys, because apparently now the Nasty Boys have the title shot, but I thought it was the Steiners. I don't know. It's all topsy-turvy, doesn't make any sense. Booker then says they finished the Nasty Boys a long time ago, and they don't care about them. At which point, the Nasty Boys run out and attack Harlem Heat and hit a spike pile driver on Booker T. Overall, I liked this. I gave it a C+. I like that the Nasty Boys are in an actual rivalry, and it's not just with Public Enemy. So I'm digging that, and we'll see where it goes.
I think of the two, the Nasty Boys and Public Enemy. The Nasty Boys are the superior version of
Agreed.
that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't mind it. You're right. I don't know who was actually supposed to have the tag team shot. I mean, apparently Greg Valentine and Buddy Valentino were ahead of all of them on the on the scorecard for who got a title shot because they had one tonight. I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't like it. But I love the tag teams, and there was Harlem Heat, so it's all right. After that, though, we got another match. And this is a good one, man. We got Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko, the first of what is to be many great matches. 9 minutes, 1 second, Joseph. That's exciting, right? We're watching history here, man.
Absolutely. I mean, we're saying first as far as WCW goes. That being said,
Debut!
that being said, B+ for this. It's fantastic. But during this match, Ted DiBiase just heads out. Look, wrong match to head out on, man. I'm just saying. This is a great TV match, and it kind of makes me look forward to seeing it weekly, which they will kind of do, but not always just with these two, but just kind of this group. And I kind of was thinking about it. And I specifically, you know me, I'm a kind of ruthless aggression era. That's my era, not necessarily the attitude era. And I always looked forward to in those or in those that era, like the on Raw and SmackDown, the matches and feuds that were for the IC title and the US title. Obviously, the world titles were great, but like seeing those, because you would see those like weekly defended, and those were so much fun. And this kind of has a similar feel to that, right? Even if it's not for the title, these are the players that will eventually be in those kind of mid-card title feuds later on, especially when you think about Chris Jericho, who won the IC championship like 8 times or 9 times, something like that. Like he, it was a fixture of that kind of division. Really enjoyed it. And then Jericho in this match picks up a surprise win with a victory roll. I say surprise, not because of his talent or anything like that, but because obviously he just debuted, and they have done a very good job of keeping Dean Malenko as a real threat to whoever he goes against. So I was pretty shocked by that, but thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it a B plus.
Yeah, and I liked it. I liked the win too because he wins, kind of in a clever way, but still, it's what's the right word? But it's kind of like a surprise kind of thing, and it pisses off Dean Malenko, which I think is fun because he's like, how did I lose to this upstart? Which I think starts a fun rivalry, and this rivalry will play out over time. The upstart versus the veteran, the man of 1,000 holds versus the man of 1,001 holds. It's exciting stuff. Also exciting is we got a video package showing off Rey Mysterio and Super Callow. We love Rey Mysterio. We love Super Callow. I love the grocery bag he wears on his face. Joseph, what do you think about this? To be fair, I do love Super Callow, but that mask I always laugh at because it looks like he's wearing a grocery bag. Anyways, what do you think of this package?
It's a package, right? It's fine. Super Cal, I believe, will debut next week, so we'll get to talk about him at length there. But these are necessary.
Unlike the Glacier promos, because we don't need those anymore. We do not need those anymore. And I'm looking at my notes. I'm skimming my notes real fast. I don't know if there's a Glacier promo tonight. Is there one? Did I miss one?
Let me take a look real quick. Let's pause for station identification. You know what? I don't think there is. I don't have it in my notes.
I guess blood did run cold.
I know next week there will be.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, anyways, after that we got another Saturday night, 6:05. Steve McMichael, John Tenta. We like John Tenta. Put him on Nitro. We'll watch. We'll watch. Apparently the Blue Bloods though are officially broken up because they're going at it. Dave Taylor and Robert Eaton. They're in a match against each other. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. And they got Chris Jericho, Randy Savage, and a bunch of other dudes. I tell you, we should be watching Saturday night. How about instead of Raw, we just watch Saturday night?
I would love to, but we can't for
Oh,
2 reasons. Number 1, it's not on Peacock. Number 2,
that's not
I
the
don't
show.
know. I don't know how we're gonna get the Thursday night shows in. I've been trying to figure out how we're gonna squeeze those in. 'Cause that's a lot of content.
Yeah, and plus, that's not the show.
Yeah.
The show is Monday Night Wars with Raw on Friday. I feel like we don't have to do this week. We could have just skipped. There was no Monday Night War this week. Anyways, after that, we got the Giant versus Brad Armstrong. 3 minutes, 48 seconds, Joseph. What's going to happen?
I like Brad Armstrong. I do. And I've said this before, but he's just vanilla, right? It's kind of like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding when they meet Ian's parents, and then her parents are like, or her dad's just like, they're just toast. Just plain toast. No butter, no jam, just toast. That's kind of how I feel about Brad Armstrong. He's very athletic, but there's nothing to his character at all. During this match, a limo shows up, presumably the NWO, because they've been doing that for weeks. Armstrong gives his best effort using his genuinely excellent athleticism. Again, I think he's very good in the ring, but Giant hits the choke slam for the win. I gave this a C. Armstrong does his best. Giant's obviously going to win. He should win, to be clear, and he does.
Yeah, Brad Armstrong gets choke slammed, and I don't think you can put that in Windex.
Jesus Christ.
What? You made a Big Fat Greek Wedding reference. I can too.
Oh, man.
But yeah, we got the limo. It's there. We don't know what's going on with it, but we do have an announcement paid for by the New World Order. It's Hollywood Hulk Hogan telling us how he's going to whoop Flair, Arn, Sting, and Luger's asses. What you gonna do at War Games when the NWO destroys you, Joseph? What'd you think?
I loved this. It is just Hogan, like you said. There's no Scott Hall, there's no Kevin Nash in this, which is fair because they think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when they did Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and no Hogan when they were in Italy, Denver, when they were in Italy. And, that was fun. And this, I was thoroughly shocked, which is why I love this because one of the complaints that we've had is that Hogan, one of the few complaints with the NWO so far is that Hogan, when he's with those guys, he does a lot of soft voice Hogan, which we love. But when he's done things by himself, it's the standard, what you gonna do? Let me tell you something, Mean Gene, all that stuff, which he does do at what you gonna do, but it's only one time. In this one, dude starts being goofy. And I love that. And it works so well. So, what the NWO has taught us is that Goofy Hogan and Soft Voice Hogan are great, but Hulkster Hogan kind of low key sucks. Not in like the 80s, but in like this era, just kind of isn't good. That being said, Hogan mocks Sting and Lex bonding with Flair and Arn, but says they have to get with the times, just like he has. And he's actually got an excellent point here. If he didn't get with the times at this stage in his career would not have lasted another 10 years like it does. It's a really good point, kind of foreshadowing for himself. I gave the whole thing an A.
Yeah, it's Hogan we like. I thought it was good. Yeah, and even I don't even really mind the what you gonna do stuff or let me tell you, brother, if he just does it in the soft voice. I'll let it go. Fine.
That would be good.
Yeah. What you gonna do, brother? Well, that's like some Clint Eastwood shit. I'm all over it. After that, we got hour number 2. And we got Eric, Bobby, and Mike Tenay. This is getting wild, man. We love us some Mike Tenay, though. Happy to see him. After that, though, we get a recap of Nitro last week where NWO just wrecked everything. They spray painted the Turner broadcast van. Ted DiBiase was there. He gave us a 4 and a 5. Ooh, exciting stuff. Anything more to say, Joseph, or did you just have to listen to the last pod?
You just have to listen to the last pod, man.
I love how we're promoting future pods and past pods. It just keeps people salivating for content. We're such great showmen here and our 38 listeners.
No. We got more than that.
How many we got?
We're about 50 right now.
Woo! Look at that, man. By the end of our 40-year run doing this, we might crack 100.
Honestly, we've moved up pretty well. I've enjoyed our pace.
Yeah, I don't mind. Honestly, again, we're doing this for fun. You can tell by that we're doing it for fun because it's just a shit show. But
oh, this is a great show. It's just
if people like it, then it's worth doing. Anyways, you were gonna say something. I interrupted you. You said it's not a shit show. It's great. What were you gonna say?
It's just we like to go off the rails sometimes, but
absolutely
that's authenticity. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's what wrestling does all the time. So, But let's get back on the rails with an exciting match: Randy Savage versus Big Ron Studd. 2 minutes 44 seconds.
Mach is in his gold and purple outfit, but the purple is a bit too bright and the gold's a bit too neon. I gave this a C. Wasn't in love with it. That being said, Mach wins easily with his gorgeous diving elbow. Mean Gene comes out to interview Mach and points out that Savage will face Hogan at Halloween Havoc, like they mentioned last week. But he still has to face the Giant at Fall Brawl War Games. At which point Mach says, first of all, I wish Halloween Havoc was tonight, because I guarantee you and the zillions of people around the world and the universe that I'm going to beat up Hollywood Hogan and take away everything that he wants, because that makes me happy. Gene then asks Savage about his mental stability, because that's been an ongoing talk backstage and with the higher ups. At which point, Savage says, I'm living on the edge. And if anybody out there is not living on the edge, taking up too much room, then Mach takes a breath, because he actually kind of got crazy here, and he takes a few breaths to kind of collect himself. At which point he says, Giant, I made a deal with you.
Jesus.
You made a deal with me. You broke your promise. Couldn't handle the pressure. Bottom line, I take over starting now.
The way you said giant, man, sent me over. Anyways, I'm sorry I messed up your flow.
You're me. And I'm guaranteeing victory against the Giant in Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I like the pressure on me. I operate better that way. Then Gene asks if he can put money down on Mach's claim that he will win both these matches. At which point Mach says, both men will melt when the heat of the Macho Man brings them all the way down. Oh, yeah. Can you give this anything less than an A+?
I mean, that is another Slammy Award winning performance on your part. That what more can be said? I can't contribute anything to this conversation. I loved it. We're moving on. I just can't. I can't.
Before we do, because I think this is funny. So we do, like we've said in the past, we do these in batches, right? So we did last week's in this batch as well. And I went downstairs and my wife, because we're doing this a little bit later than we normally do, because Scott was very gracious to work around my schedule today. And, and my wife goes, why were you yelling up there? And I just looked at her and go, why do you think I was yelling up there? And she goes, Macho Man? And I went, yes, Macho Man. And then I told her, I got one more to do, because there is no Mach promo next week. So sorry, please don't not listen, because I know you guys all look
God,
forward
yeah.
to that. But there's no Mach promo next week. But I was like, I got one more to do. I might lose my voice by the end of it.
Well, it was good, man. It might have been one of your best. So you put it all on the line, and I really appreciate it. After that, we got a match. We got Sting, we got Lex, we got Ling. You know him, you love him. And we got Rick and Scott Steiner. I said with a little French flair there. I don't know why, but I did. Joseph, tell me about this 38-second match.
Oh man, Sting is in my favorite red and white gear of his with matching face paint. It's great. The four horsemen charge the limo that's out in the back, but it's empty, and the horsemen deduce that the NWO must be in the building. Nick Patrick very quickly, like you said, in 38 seconds, calls a DQ on Lex Luger after Sexy Lexi accidentally bumped into him because he was pushed. This makes Ling and all the Lingers, like myself and Scott included, quite upset. I gave this an A, not because of the match, because it is very much a story, and this story is being excellently told, and I enjoyed that. But it is not a match. This is more of like a spectacle and entertainment thing. When people say wrestling is sports entertainment, this is the entertainment side.
And the crowd hates it. They get
Deservedly
mad.
so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're gonna see the Steiner brothers and Rex and Lex and Sting go together. I mean, people bought Ling shirts, and they don't even get a match. We better watch yourself, Nick Patrick. You better run to your car tonight, because it could be bad. After that, though, we got another match. We're chugging along here. They got a lot of content, though, so they kind of have to. Four Horsemen main event versus the Dungeon of Doom. I thought bygones had been bygones. I thought we're all friends now, and we were fighting the NWO. But I guess not. At least not tonight, because we got time to fill. 13 minutes 54 seconds. This is Arn, Chris, Rick, Steve, with Deborah, Miss Elizabeth, and the woman versus Big Bubba, Ming, the Barbarian, and the Taskmaster, with Jimmy Hart. 8-man tag team match, Joseph. Tell me about it.
Mongo looks horrible here. And it seems pretty evident to me that Sullivan has no intention of making him look better than he is. During this match, Ling have chased Nick Patrick all the way to that limo that's been parked outside, and Ted DiBiase lets him in as they drive off, and then Sting of Ling throws a brick through the window before they get to drive off, and then Sting and Sexy Lexi of Ling steal a cop car to chase them. This is pure cinema. I love this. Going back to the match, I don't love the match. Six-man tags are hard to make great just inherently. You can. There's been plenty of them that have been great. Eight-man tags are near impossible because there's just too much, and it's really hard to get everybody, a chance to shine. It really has to be what you would call a spot fest, really a crowd pleaser where everybody gets to do their greatest hits. But some of the people in this ring don't have greatest hits, so there's nothing you can do with that. Looking at you, Mongo. Chris Benoit, though, I will say, does shine in this match. Like, he's giving it his all. Everybody that wrestles him in this match, he makes them look really good by taking some brutal just bumps, and he does a great job with that. Woman gets screamed at by Benoit. It isn't really clear why to me. You might know, but this also was kind of uncomfortable to watch with what we know in hindsight. Flair wins after a woman helps him cheat, and then the NWO attack everyone in the ring, including referee Randy Anderson, which I thought was a nice touch. I don't know if they'll play into that in the next few weeks, but that is a nice touch because, Nick Patrick kind of got away and Randy Anderson got attacked, which I thought was good. I don't remember if they'll go into this, but we'll see. Giant comes down to the ring to stop the NWO. But wait, he chokeslams Barbarian and Ming. He's the fifth man, or the fourth man, or the sixth man, or whichever man, we don't know. NWO doesn't know how numbers work.
Wait, who's the fourth?
Is
he the fifth?
Yeah.
Is Ted the fourth? I don't know.
I believe
who's on first.
Yeah. I believe the way they are doing this, they've kind of retconned their own thing, which they will talk about, I think, next week. But they've kind of retconned their things. Ted DiBiase is the, essentially, and this is a kind of a spoiler, but he is kind of the money behind them, right? He is kind of their billionaire Ted kind of thing. So yes, he's a member, but he's almost like member zero.
He's trillionaire Ted. He's got more money. He's got more money than billionaire Ted. Yeah.
Right. So he's kind of member zero, right? So they kind of shift things. Giant is now member 4. Member 5 will technically be introduced next week, so you have to listen to the pod to find out who that is. Then Giant chokeslams Mach after Hogan hits him. Oh, let me pull back a little bit. I got ahead of myself on the notes. I'm not even going to edit this out. Sometimes it's nice to keep the mistakes in. After we get the reveal that he is the 4th, 5th, 6th, we don't know what man he is, Mach runs in and attacks everybody with a chair. And finally, after really doing a good job of clearing a lot of them out, he finally gets taken down by the numbers game, which I love because it made him look strong while also not too strong where he actually beats everybody, because that would be fucking ridiculous. And, why would you ever do that? Hulk Hogan, why would you ever do that? But he gets taken down by the numbers game. Hogan hits him with a monster chair shot again. And again, this is the only guy Hogan does that to. Everybody else, he gives those soft voice Hogan chair shots, which I respect and like. But with Mach, he gives them Hulkster chair shots, which are rough. And I'm like, bro, take it easy. Anyways, Giant then choke slams Mach, and then Hogan hits him with 3 leg drops. While he's doing the leg drops, Eric Bischoff, calls on commentary that this mirrors the Hogan turn at Bash at the Beach, when Hogan also hit him with 3 leg drops. I thought that was a really nice way to kind of bring in or tie in that the debut of Hogan as a heel. I thought that worked really well. NWO then goes to commentary, who they all kind of flee, and Hogan asks, is there any question now on who is the most powerful man in pro wrestling? Is there any question as to who is the most powerful organization in pro wrestling? He also says there isn't just 4 or 5 members. There is, and then he holds up fingers 6, 7, and 8, we'll find out eventually whenever that is, and now we definitely kinda see the cracks. There's too many. That's too many. Way too many. That being said, Giant starts a promo about Ted DiBiase contacting him to join the NWO, but Hogan keeps interrupting after he's wrecking the commentary platform, and Giant never finishes his promo, and then Dungeon of Doom and Four Horsemen, they've kinda recovered, they go to charge them, the NWO fight them off, and then they go back to commentary, and Hogan says the NWO is the best thing going today as we kind of fade to black. I thoroughly enjoyed the post match. I gave the post match an A. I gave the match itself a C. That's the highest grade I was willing to give it because it wasn't very good. That being said, the show itself is a banger. It's a very good, tight show. I gave the show a B plus.
I mean, Lex and Sting stole a cop car.
Yeah.
So the ending is just like, I don't even care about the rest of the night. The ending was just, I think you said cinema.
Yeah.
It was insane. I loved it. Like I said, it starts with Sting and Lex going out to the limo. Sting throws a friggin' cinder block through the window. The limo goes speeding off. They steal a cop car. Yeah, Randy Savage clearing everybody out. I thought that was. I also agree that I thought that was a really good moment because up to this point, the NWO has kind of seemed completely impervious, like they just can't be beat. No one's really gotten over on them. And here, Randy Savage shows that they're human. He gets over on most of them, and then he kind of has a moment. Hogan's begging him not to do it, and he pauses there for a moment, right? Maybe the history, they've been together, they've been quote unquote buddies for so long. Gives Hogan the chance to get around, get the chair, give him a nasty chair shot. Maybe they're not really buddies, Joseph.
That's a wild accusation. And as you know, we don't do narratives around here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty well known that Macho Man was not a fan of Hulk Hogan in real life.
No,
Eh,
he was absolutely a fan of Hulk Hogan. He made a whole rap album, encouraging Hulk Hogan to be the man he knows he is, right? Be a man.
uh-huh.
It was absolutely
I think in the rap game they call those diss tracks, Joseph.
which by the way, people go, that's such a shitty album. I fucking love that album. I love that album so much. And I'm not saying he's great as a rapper, but that album is so like he absolutely goes in. Like you said, diss tracks, and I gotta respect that shit.
Just let the man have it. I don't care if it sucks. He's trying, and I'm for it. I'm for it. The only negative here, and again, this is kind of 2020 hindsight, is that I don't like that the Giant is now part of NWO. We'll see later that he's not really a great fit, honestly, as they kind of go forward. And I really would have just liked the NWO to stay ex WWF guys.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first real mistake they make. And again, they're gonna keep winning for God knows how much longer, 70 more weeks, 60 more weeks, whatever it is. But I feel like this is the first real mistake with NWO. Should have stayed WWF guys. I really don't think Giant ends up working out real well. I think they kind of realize that at some point and they get rid of him. But it is what it is. And overall, though, really hot, a lot of heat. Fans are losing their minds. Good way to end it, though, overall. Don't you think?
I agree. I thought, like I said, I gave the whole thing a B plus. I just enjoyed the hell out of the show.
Yeah. Well, let's keep the good times rolling as we roll into the Wheeling Civic Center in Wheeling, West Virginia for Raw Championship Friday, September 6th, 1996. Still getting preempted by the US Open, but we're doing it on Friday. It's the same week, so we'll count it as a battle in the Monday Night Wars, whatever. I don't care. We got to do it. Shit. Anyways, we got Kevin Kelly and Jim Ross though on commentary, Joseph. That's different.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like it. It's not great.
I
I don't
prefer it.
think.
I prefer it over the other commentary team.
I mean,
I don't disagree with you, but I prefer it over what we've been having.
maybe it's just my nostalgia, but at some point I enjoyed Jim Ross and Jerry the King. I feel like I did. We have not gotten there yet in this watch, so maybe it's just that I don't remember things correctly. But we'll see.
I'm gonna bet that it's nostalgia, and I think when we get to that era, which obviously is well known and to be fair, in your defense and many people's defense, it is a very appreciated era of Jerry the King Lawler's career. I think we're gonna find out it's actually an overrated era of Jerry the King Lawler's career, but we'll see when we get there.
You're saying it doesn't hold up, huh?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong though. I've been wrong on this show before. There's been people that I never thought I would love that I ended up loving. I will never love Jerry the King Lawler, but I might appreciate that era of his career.
That's true. You've come around to a lot of people, like, Disco Inferno. You're a big fan of him now.
No, fuck that guy.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll make a fan out of you yet. Let's get it started because we have the Intercontinental Title Tournament. If you remember, Ahmed Johnson, he's out. His kidney or appendix or something exploded. I can't remember. And he's out. He's legitimately out. So he had to vacate the Intercontinental title. And so now we're having a tournament to see who's gonna win it. And we're in the quarterfinals now, Joseph. I kind of forgot this was even happening because I'm so invested in Raw. Psycho Sid, though, versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley. What do you make of this match that goes on for 3 minutes and 39 seconds?
It's interesting that we would transition from me saying that I've feel I've been wrong or changed my opinions on this podcast in the past because we're going right into somebody that really works for, which is Psycho Sid. You know me. I never thought I would enjoy Psycho Sid. I've really come around to him. Lex Luger's another example. Really come around to Psycho Sid. The crowd is very behind Psycho Sid, and rightfully so. He has successfully built his own momentum. He's done a great job. The crowd is hot on him. That will come into play in his career over the next almost year. Really work well for him. Mr. Perfect has apparently been stealing Hunter Hearst Helmsley's ladies during their Saturday programs because Hunter in the doghouse and he ain't been on Raw for a while now, few months. And when he has, he loses. And Hunter's still in the doghouse. He loses this, and he loses it because Mr. Perfect is going to come out and take his gal. Sid hits a monster choke slam. Then he hits his power bomb for the win. We knew Sid was going to win again. Hunter's in the doghouse. But with him being in the doghouse, this angle with him and Mr. Perfect will eventually lead him out of the doghouse. I'm pretty positive on that. So that's kind of nice. Overall, I gave the match a C. Hunter's very good in the ring. He always has. And a lot of people will say that the future known as Triple H is not good in the ring. You're all fucking crazy. He's phenomenal in the ring. Is he Bret Hart? No, but he doesn't have to be. He's very, very good in the ring. Great storyteller. I'm a Triple H fan. And the reason I'm a Triple H fan is because I fucking hated Triple H when I was a kid because he beat all the wrestlers that I loved. And yes, there's some backstaging in that. But regardless, he beat all the wrestlers that I loved. And on screen, that's all I saw. So he was the mega heel and I hated him. But now as an adult, I look back on that and I go, yeah, that makes sense. You were a heel. That was your job. That was what you're supposed to do. Anyways, I gave this a C. It's fine. It's fine. It's a okay start for Raw, but I think we just kind of fall off the rails pretty quickly after that.
I agree with you about Triple H. Maybe he's not the best technical wrestler of all time, but he's a really good storyteller, which explains why he now is in charge of all of that at WWE, because he's fantastic at it. And if he's not as technically gifted as Bret Hart, I mean, frankly, Bret Hart has to be that technically gifted because he's terrible on the mic. Hunter makes up for not being as gifted as Bret by being a good storyteller. And you said that this is going to lead Hunter out of the doghouse, and I'm saying, but it's going to lead him right back into the road doghouse.
No, that's not. That's going to take a while before we get there.
Oh, you didn't know?
Na.
It's coming in like a year.
Yeah.
After that, we hear from Ahmed. We got a little vignette from Ahmed and his doctor. I wonder if this is really a doctor. When they do these, I'm always wondering are these really doctors or is this just a guy they put in a coat? I assume it's just a guy they put in a coat because why would a doctor ever agree to this?
No, I think these are doctors usually because like they have like their own doctors where they'll like people that kind of work with them, not necessarily their own, but like people that work with WWF and WWE. And so kind of the understanding is like, hey, we will send our people specifically to you, but I'm speculating here. We'll send our people specifically to you, but also we may once in a while need you to, you know, do a storyline thing. Usually they are doctors. This one, though, kind of ridiculous. I thought this whole thing was ridiculous. Ahmed Johnson almost died, I guess, which may or may not be true. I don't know the validity of that. That this may have been something that actually, because if you have something burst, yeah, if you don't catch it immediately, it can lead to death. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you like
So
sepsis and die. That shit's serious.
yeah. So I'm not challenging that necessarily. What I am challenging is the doctor telling us that Ahmed may be able to recover and return to the ring. That's hilarious. It's a kidney. Yeah, you can yes, there's a recovery time, but you will get through it. This is not a, broke the dude's spine and if he goes in the ring, it's gonna injure himself and then his career will be over or his life might be over. No, it's a kidney. He'll be fine. It's ridiculous. I gave this a D.
I knew a kid growing up that only had one kidney. He was born with only one kidney, and he just got like to drink Coke during PE. So I feel like that's pretty sweet.
Was he one kid kidney?
Oh my god, this is a real person. What are you doing? Jesus. Allegedly, I hope he doesn't sue us. He's a big fan of the pod.
Is he?
No, I don't know. Maybe I haven't talked to him in years. But
Oh, man.
but Jesus, horrible, horrible. I condemn you for that, sir, because I'm not going to be party to this lawsuit. Yeah,
Well, I got a surprise for you. One kid kidney, come on out here.
da, 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 da. Yeah, I did want to go back to the Ahmed thing for a little bit though, just because, yeah, as you said, he talks about how because he didn't die, that means that like I don't know, God's got big plans for him or something. I guess God's on Ahmed's side, which is fine, which is okay. He's God's chosen athlete, and that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. After that, we got another one of these IC title qualifier quarterfinal tournament of championships or whatever. Mark Marrow and Steve Austin. 8 minutes, 39 seconds. This is some bullshit, Joseph. Tell me about it.
I agree. I 100% agree. JR, good old JR says he has a groundbreaking story later on. Brian Pillman joins on commentary and says he also has big news, and it's about the potential return of Bret the Hitman Hart, who's been finding his soul in like Germany and Canada and all these like weird places. He went whale watching, was finding his soul doing that. Remember that weird one where he's like on a boat for some reason? All that stuff. Anyways, so Pillman puts over Austin, pointing out that he won the King of the Ring and that was no easy task. Wow, it only took them 3 months to acknowledge that. Jesus fucking Christ. Apparently, backstage, Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Mr. Perfect had to be separated. We don't see this. We're just told this. Cool. Good. Glad that your storylines aren't on camera. Awesome. Pillman then says Bret Hart and Steve Austin are very similar. Honestly, before the neck injury, Austin really was a phenomenal technician. He doesn't get enough credit for that in his career. So even though they are different, I don't think the comparison is unwarranted. I think it's a pretty decent comparison. After the neck injury, he becomes much more of a brawler because he has to work with his own limitations, but he's still great at that anyways. Mero accidentally hits the ref when Austin pulls him in the way. Mero wins via DQ, and Austin hits him with the stunner. This makes zero sense that Austin isn't marching right to the IC title because he just won the fucking King of the Ring 3 months ago, and you haven't done shit with him at all. And it's going to take basically the efforts of Austin, Brian Pillman, and later Bret Hart to pull him out of this doghouse that has been created for him when he did nothing fucking wrong. I don't understand what's going on with WWF. This is fucking stupid. You said it was bullshit earlier. I'm going to echo that. It is a horrible call. I like Mark Marrow. You like Mark Marrow. We're both Mark Marrow fans. But the obvious choice is to have Austin go through this and win the IC title. It's so baffling they don't do this. I gave this a D.
And then Stone Cold hit him with a stunner after.
Yeah.
I don't we get and then chaos ensues, everyone refs and Jerry or Nabisco and Briscoe and all of them are coming out.
Nabisco.
Patterson and Briscoe. We have a running gag because I forget who's who, which one's Patterson, which one's Briscoe, so I purposely get them wrong. Except then I forget which one's who and I accidentally get them right, trying to get them wrong. It's a whole thing, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. But yeah, this is dumb. This is bad booking. I don't like it. Stone Cold is so hot. They don't see it yet, even though they knew right away. Yeah, it would make perfect sense for him to win the IC title. I think that's a good title for him right now. He's hot, but he's not maybe ready for the world championship title. But he loses. It's crazy. And he loses in a stupid way. He pulls the ref into Mark Merrow and then he gets DQ'd for it. It's dumb. Not as dumb though as our next segment. You like that segue, Joseph?
Yep.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
We got Mark Henry and Jerry the Kang Lawler in the ring. Jerry makes more Jake the Snake Roberts jokes. Apparently, Mark has got some beef with Vader. He and Jerry start going at it. Jerry challenges him to a match. Mark Henry says, I'm gonna turn that down because I don't know how to wrestle, because he doesn't. And then Jerry just keeps going, and then Mark Henry says, you know what, after all, I actually am gonna wrestle you, even though I don't know how. What'd you make of this?
I gave this an F. I hated it. One note that I have here is Jerry Lawler says Jake is actually mad at Mark because he pulled the bottle of Jim Beam away before Jake was done drinking. Kill me now. I fucking hated this. This is so bad. I hate.
Do you hate it?
Lawler.
Well, you'll love what happens next. We got Mankind.
Nice.
And hold on, let me put my glasses on here. Alex Porto?
The pug. Alex
Yeah.
Porto.
Well known. So tell me about this 2-minute match, and then also tell me about the exciting big announcement that Jim Ross has for us. Holy shit.
Yeah. We're here, everybody. So Mankind wins this. Obviously he wins this. There's nothing to say about it. But during the match, Jim Ross tells us about his announcement. He says that his sources tell him that Big Daddy Cool Diesel and the bad guy Razor Ramon are on their way back to the WWF. So get ready for that, guys. That's going to be great.
Wow, that's exciting. What a swerve. I can't believe they're coming back, Joseph. I'm so excited to learn more. He also meant
go ahead.
I was just say, did you also notice he also mentions Kurt Angle though?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he says that Kurt Angle's been in talks with WWF, which that I'm genuinely excited for, although it doesn't happen for a while. But hey,
yeah, because it's not just WWF. I think it's ECW as well. Within the next few years, there's a whole story about like Kurt Angle going to ECW and was going to sign with ECW, and then that day that they did that is when I think it's Raven hung Sandman, like they crucified him on a cross. And Kurt Angle was like, that don't work for me, brother. And he just walked right out and did not sign with them.
Hey, thank God for that, because he's great. I love him. He's one of my favorites. So
absolutely.
I'm glad he went to WWF.
You know what else is one of your favorites, Scott?
What?
This next segment.
You talking the Canada thing where Psycho Sid tugs a war with an elephant? What the hell's going on? I mean, that's it. That's really all it is. They're in Canada. Yeah. There's a tug of war.
It's like a fair or something like that.
Yeah.
Some fair, and they're kind of representing WWF at this fair. And so there's some fans there it's like a meet and greet thing. Interesting note. The one real interesting note on this is Roddy Piper is there.
He is, yeah.
And that's kind of it.
All right. And then the next thing, because we're just firing all cylinders now. We got Bob Backlund.
Yep.
He's there. Iron Sheik's back too. And I guess they're in cahoots.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but okay. Let's go to a commercial break.
So essentially, just to sum up this segment, Bob Backlund, like you say, he's on the mic and he announces that he's bringing back the eventual next WWF champion. but the gentleman who is his mentor is this man, and that's when the Iron Sheik comes out, and this is gonna be horrible because the gentleman who ends up being the mentee? The mentored by
Minty.
mentee? Okay, mentee by Iron Sheik, does not make a difference, and that pisses off both me and Scott.
I'm wearing the shirt
Anyway
right now, man.
anyways, that gets an F.
Yeah. Yeah. Just for the record, it's, since we've already kind of alluded to it, it's Fatu and a new character. They change, Fatu becomes Rikishi, but in the middle here, apparently he's got an even worse character than he already had. I actually don't think Fatu's a bad character. It's just
They
they
just
don't
don't
do
they
anything.
they don't yeah, they don't know how to
Yeah,
use
they don't
them.
do anything with him. But Joseph got me a shirt, a Making a Difference Fatu shirt, which I wear all the time. And I wear it to random things, and I take a picture of me wearing it and tell Joseph that I'm making a difference at Arby's and things. That was your favorite one. When I was in line at Arby's and I was making a difference there.
That one and the post office one, that one got me.
Those are good places to make differences, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of making a difference, we got Shawn Michaels and Goldust in a match. The main event. They might redeem this night. 11 minutes 55 seconds. Tell me, Joseph, do they
I
redeem it?
I will say this does make a difference because this is the only fucking good thing on this show. During the match, Taker has a picture-in-picture where he's after Goldust. What the fuck? He's in a huge rivalry where he just died, but didn't die against Mankind. But he's also in a rivalry that ended weeks ago with Goldust? Fucking what? What is going on? This makes no sense. Anyways, back to the match. Goldust charges Michaels while he's still doing his entrance. HBK throws Goldust out of the ring and continues dancing in the ring doing his entrance, which I loved. It was really fucking fun. WWF is not about HBK posing for Playgirl, so much so they advertised the shit out of it to start this match. Speaking of Brokeback Mountain, Shawn Michaels Playgirl cover.
He
Anyways,
does kind of wear chaps.
that's true. That's true. Oh man, and just like Brokeback Mountain, I won't quit Shawn Michaels. You know that's my boy. Anyways, not to be outdone by this Playgirl shoot, Marlena is in a holy crap revealing dress. There is just about nothing left to the imagination here. So if you're a pervy person, I guess this is the match for you. I mean, look, Marlena looks great, but it's like, dear God. I mean, if you wanted to wear it, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But like, hopefully she wanted to wear it and wasn't forced on her. Anyways, in the actual match that's going on,
The data guys at Peacock, after this pod comes out, are gonna be like, oh my god, the September 6th episode of Raw it's doing crazy numbers. I don't know why. It's because all the people listening to our podcast like, I gotta see this.
gotta see it. Yeah. Anyways, in the actual match that's going on, HBK and Goldust have phenomenal chemistry. They're both excellent wrestlers. They will continue to be excellent wrestlers until the end of their days. Goldust is still wrestling as Dustin Rhodes, his real name. And he doesn't wrestle every week on AEW, but every time he does, he gives a great performance. He helps train wrestlers, which is something he should absolutely be doing. Dustin Rhodes, we can't say anything, we can't say enough positive things about Dustin Rhodes. Love him. They do really, really well in this match. HBK and Goldust do the double clothesline spot where they clothesline each other and get knocked out. And I love that spot. HBK hits his flying forearm, then a scoop slam and a diving crossbody that Goldust converts into a roll up and almost wins, but HBK kicks out at 2.99. Then we get an ad for the next In Your House where they have a clear it's HBK versus Mankind promo in this thing. And that kind of kills the ending of this match. So good job on that. HBK goes for Sweet Chin Music, but Marlena distracts him. Me too, Shawn, me too. HBK counters the curtain call and hits a moonsault for the win, which is actually, he'll use this a few times to win matches. Mankind tries to attack HBK, but HBK dodges it and rightfully hightails it because it would be a 2-on-1 scenario. He doesn't want to do that. This is the lone good thing we see on Raw this week. I gave the match a B+. They do a great job in it. The two men have great chemistry. This is the only good thing in here. The rest of the show is dog shit. And yeah, who won, Scott?
Nitro. Yeah, Ross sucked minus this match. That's it. That's all I gotta say. I think we're done, right, Joseph?
Yeah, I think we're done. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey, everybody, it's Joseph. And guess what? Not only can you listen to us every Monday on Spotify, but you can find us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube Podcasts as well. Just search for Monday Night Wars Podcasts. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us on Twitter at MON Night Wars Pod, on Instagram at Monday Night Wars Podcast, or just email us at mnwpodcast@gmail.com. And finally, subscribe to our Patreon at Monday Night Wars Podcast. For $2 a month, you get every pay-per-view from WCW and WWF during this era, as well as additional content later on. Once again, thank you for listening. We'll see you here next time on the Monday Night Wars Podcast.